welcome into the very first interview of the Wealthy Women Entrepreneur video series. I'm so excited today because I have an amazing guest, and I just want to let you know about this new video series that I'm having. So it's not like the Business Chat Tuesday where I come to you every week with technical and strategy around your branding and everything. This Wealthy Women Entrepreneur is basically a conversation that we all have together, and I invite you to put your thoughts in the comments so we all have a conversation around the topic that we are tackling. And I really invite you to also take your drink because we are all together hanging out and having a really good talk. Today I have, as I said, an amazing guest, and I met her through her flow course that I took in myself, and I realized how really amazing it was, and it really helped me into my business and working and into my productivity. So that's why I'm bringing you this amazing person here, and I will introduce you to her. Hello, Shelley. How are you today?
Hello, Soheir. Good to see you. I'm great.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to come into this interview here with me, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. And is 2018 going to be a year in flow or what?
Yay! Let's make that happen.
Totally.
So, let us know a little bit more of these people who are watching and who don't know you at all. Like, what is your background, and can you let us know about flow with your own words?
Yes, absolutely. Well, listen, like so many of us, I had one career and now I have a second career. And my first career was that I worked in the international fashion manufacturing business. So I lived in Asia, I lived in South America, I traveled around the world. My life looked so glamorous, so glamorous.
It sounds like it.
Yes, right. And all the women I knew wanted their daughters to be more like me. I was always jet setting, but behind closed doors, I was exhausted. You know, I was on the road sometimes up to 70% of the time. And when you looked at the results I was getting, it was absolutely amazing. I was making thousands of jobs. I was selling millions of dollars worth of business. It was, you know, it was pretty exciting and amazing, but I was exhausted and I didn't have the life that I wanted. There was no balance. So I found myself burned out, like I know so many women are in the process of discovering, or they're already post burnout. And I needed a solution. And I didn't know, well, was it the work I was doing, or was there something wrong with me? Was I just not doing things right? So what happened along the way is that I discovered, you know, the difference between how a woman finds her productivity so that she doesn't burn out. But I also am kind of a productivity geek. I mean, I worked in manufacturing, so I would stroll the floors of the factory and sit with all the engineers, and we were calculating efficiencies and how to increase by 10%, and you know, how to have a whole departments have better, you know, quality and productivity. And because I traveled so much, well, let me just tell you, I discovered some amazing productivity hacks to save me like hours a day that I share with the women in the course Flow. So it's kind of always been my buzz, but what's really exciting for me now is to be on the other side of burnout and to share with women how they can go for their dreams, and not just professionally, but personally, and they can stay fully energized and feel like they have the energy for the things they really care about. So I'm thrilled to be here and have a conversation with you. It was absolutely wonderful to have you as part of my course.
Because it's my absolute pleasure. I really learned from it, and this is why I'm bringing you here, because I think that this is something that needs to be heard, and especially the rest of our conversation, because we have so much to share in here. And that leads me, like, because you've been through a burnout, and as you know, I've been through a burnout myself, and this is just only recently that I started to open up about it, because there's nothing fun about doing this, you know, experiencing this. And at the time when you're experiencing this, it seems like no one understands or no one cares. You feel so lonely, and that's why I really loved your course. So Speaking about burnout, can you let us know what really leads us women as burning out instead of chasing our dreams?
Yes. Okay. This is so important. And can I just address what you just shared? I mean, it almost makes me want to cry. I remember feeling so alone, Soheir. And I remember feeling like there's something wrong with me. People think I'm doing all these great things, but I'm exhausted and I just want to quit.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the moment where you go, can I just, I know this is a horrible joke, but can I just marry a rich man? I'm exhausted. And I know I'm so good, but I don't want to give up my dreams because they matter to me. But that feeling of there's something wrong with me. And I promise you, ladies, there is nothing wrong with you. There's nothing. So here's the reason why women are burning out like crazy. We are going after productivity and being taught about productivity by men or by women who've studied with men or by systems that are very masculine. And what happens is not only do we burn out, but we are not utilizing some of our most amazing skills of being a woman. So yeah, it's absolutely that. It's the way we're going about our productivity is just very focused and very masculine. And eventually that just burns us out. And I'm seeing it happen to women as early as in their 20s now. In general, I would have said women were burning out somewhere between like 35 to 40, sometimes later. But I have recently encountered women who are experiencing this in their 20s, and it's heartbreaking.
Yes, absolutely. That's horrible, especially when you know how it feels doing this. I mean, experiencing this early in your life. Wow. Right. And what do you feel like it's a problem with? You know, you mentioned on how men work and how they are productive, and how women, we are different. What is the gap, the difference, and the problem here?
Well, so let me ask you a question, Soheir. Have you ever noticed that men and women are just a little bit different?
Yes, absolutely.
Just a little. I mean, you know, you could say it's a little bit, or you could say it's a lot. And I've actually spent about 10 years studying, researching, being mentored by somebody who this is their whole entire life's work about the differences between men and women. And this is where, during that work and research, I just uncovered some of these secrets about why women were burning out. Listen, we're different. We speak, listen, and think differently. The way we focus is differently. You know, men are single focused. Try to talk to a man when he's watching his favorite sports team or NASCAR race, right? It's a joke. Whereas the women, we are natural multitaskers. And it is literally the way our brains are wired. You know, there are researchers who research this at the university and medical level. You know, there's different hormones in our body. Our energy works differently. Think about the difference in our reproductive systems. You know, as a woman, you know, our life is very affected by our reproductive systems. You know, we have more energy at different times of the month or the day or all of that. So we're just really different. So here, what's the problem with us being so different, and as women following the lead of how men do things? Yeah. Like it doesn't, you see how that it doesn't make sense. Not at all. Right? Yeah. Totally doesn't make sense. So I have, what I want to share with you guys today is that there are 3 surprising things that are holding women back from being at least 50% more productive and a heck of a lot happier, a lot less overwhelmed, a lot less exhausted, either recovering from burnout or preventing it. Okay. So the first one is that we're doing things like men. Okay. We're doing things like men. Now, here's the thing. This is a really amazing, incredible thing. And it's kind of a superpower, but it gets us in trouble. So as women, if we decide to focus on something and get really focused, which I would call more of our masculine mode, all women can sort of go back and forth. We produce a tiny little bit of testosterone, boom, right? All women have some of that, and we get really focused, and we can be so uber productive. It's unbelievable. But we're also women, so we can kind of multitask and be uber focused. But the thing is that you know, that ability in us as humans was not developed to do our everyday work. It wasn't developed for us to feed 5 kids at the same time, or, you know, to do 3 new reports in 3 hours. It was there in case a tiger came after us and we needed to run and be super focused on survival. It was not meant to be the way we live our everyday life. And so when we're going about being productive and working in that focus mode all the time, and let me ask you, Soheir, when you got to that burnout place, were you just pumping out 12 hours a day of boom, 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 I can push myself, I can get this done, I'm just gonna another cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Man, I'm doing a week's worth of work in 2 days.
Oh yeah, it was like that for me for years actually before I hit that burnout. And when I hit that burnout, I knew exactly what it was, because I knew exactly where it come from. Like, it was all the time for at least 3 to 4 years, where I had a very demanding job, and I was creating my own company at the same time. And it was like the very fast life. I had a very fast life. It was like very demanding. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So my experience too, let me share a little bit about this, is that I was getting rewarded for that. I was getting rewarded and praised. Oh, Shelley, you're amazing. Oh, I'd like my daughter to be mentored by you. Oh, this is amazing. And behind closed doors, I was like, I haven't figured this out. Something's wrong. Like, this should be easier. Why is it so stressful? And, you know, I actually burned myself out to the point where I had full on insomnia and I didn't sleep 4 nights in a row. And I'd be up thinking about, did I order the buttons? Are we going to ship on time? You know, are people going to lose their jobs? You know, there were 3,000 or 3,500 people whose jobs relied upon me keeping it going. And it was just so stressful. So I was getting all these rewards and I was certainly making money for it, but I knew something was wrong. So let me get to the second surprising reason that women are not able to be more productive. And that is that we are not tapping into our natural superpowers as women. Okay. So imagine a day, anybody who's listening right now, imagine a day that was just super easy. You know, you didn't really think about, you know, what you had to accomplish that day, but you just in your heart would know, oh, this is the next thing I'm supposed to do. Oh, I'm supposed to call so-and-so. And by the end of the day, your heart is full. And you're like, wow, I can't believe how much I got done today. And it was easy. And I feel so great, right?
Yeah.
And we'll have those days by accident. But here's the thing. We can have those days every day if we know how to tap into our superpowers. And this is about knowing how to go back and forth between this focus mode, which is wonderful, and it can really help you, and then going over to our more feminine, creative, in the moment side. Because here's what happens. Your energy gets drained when you're in the focus mode, right? You're having to produce some testosterone. You're not gaining energy. You're getting stuff done, but you're not gaining energy. In the feminine mode, we can nurture and gain energy. And this is the mode where we get things done, like the creative ideas. What's my next idea for my business? You know, we cannot do that when we're in super focus mode. That's about writing a to-do list that's 200 items long and you never move forward. Yeah. So this tapping into our superpowers, really recognizing what it is to be a woman and to be able to go back and forth. Men cannot do this. Now, men are amazing, and there's things they're better at than we are, but there are things we are better at than they are. And it's about really tapping into our natural strengths and we don't need to be like men. We already have men on the planet. We need to be the best women that we can be. And I actually believe that some of the biggest challenges we see in the world today, people are trying to solve them from a purely masculine or focused mode, and they're missing this feminine side, and that's where the answers lie. It doesn't mean we're the ones that'll solve it on our own, but more balance is what's going to open that up. So I'm passionate about this because we're missing out on this gem, this gold, the diamonds of the world. The women, we need you understanding how to shift into this.
Yeah,
and there's a third thing, and I'm having to look at my notes. Oh God, yes, this. Okay, so let me ask you a question. When you were just pushing it hard in the job and starting your business and super exciting, and I'm sure everybody's going, oh, you're amazing and this is so great. Did you find yourself just so focused just on your professional life that you felt like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to have a personal life? Yeah. Like, to be successful, I'm going to have to give up having a personal life.
Yeah, like for me, I remember, like, especially when I was still in the corporate world, it was like very fast paced. And I was very much, when I was at work, I was someone very, very, as you said, like, and that's why I love what you just said, like the masculine mode. I was so into this mode. And when I was out of the door, literally, like I was somebody else, completely somebody else. And I remember like I had zero private life. I was the party girl and I was the professional, really corporate, successful woman. And that
Mm-hmm.
was it, you know, like I couldn't figure out, like I wanted to be into a relationship, but I just really couldn't figure out what was about me that just was I, I felt that I was carrying men away, but I didn't understand because I had it all. You know, I was successful, I was independent,
Right.
I wasn't desperate, I wasn't after their money. I had my own, I had my own place, my own car, my own everything. I was independent, and I could bring all this into a relationship, but I didn't understand why, as a woman, I couldn't get a man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is just it's almost impossible to kind of pull these apart. And this is exactly what number 3 is. We aren't looking at our life holistically, right? Because if you look at any of the most famous, productivity gurus, and I'm not going to name names, and honestly, nothing wrong with these women, these men that have, laid the way and created a lot of systems. I mean, I've studied under them, and there's some great tools there. But here's the thing, as women, we have a whole life. We have more on our plate than men. We are the ones who take on that responsibility for nurturing children that don't have mothers, or nurturing our own parents as they get older, or nurturing the children. There are just gifts that we have. And part of what fuels us to be productive comes from our personal life. We cannot separate them. We cannot. We've got to look at our whole life holistically. What do we want to accomplish professionally? What do we want to accomplish personally? And, I know a lot of women, and I put myself in this same boat. I've been working on developing business models that would work for me to have a life, to take the time to spend with my family,
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
do the things that, really light my heart on fire. And a lot of the business models out there right now, this is why women are starting businesses in droves. And this is your audience. So I'm excited to be
Absolutely.
talking to them.
Yeah.
Starting businesses in droves because the corporate world is not working for us. I remember the last actual job I had, and it was in the fashion industry. And, I was one of those people who worked 6 or 7 days a week, was always on the road, never got comp days. And the holidays came, and all my siblings, it was a long time ago, all my family was coming into town. And I realized I had to take some time off. And I knew I'd taken care of my work, things were okay. And I went to my boss and I said, I really need to take some time off to be with my family. And she basically said no. And then finally, out of guilt, because I guilted her about how much I work and 7 days a week and on the road and no comp days, she gave me like a day off. And I said, that was it. That was the done day. I knew I would never have a job for any. And I started my first business right after that job a few months later, and I was done. And, a lot of the corporate, it doesn't work for being a mom. It doesn't work for being a spouse. It doesn't work for being a daughter or a friend, or all the things we want to do in our life, the charitable things we want to work on. But yet we can be amazingly productive in a system that has more flexibility for us. And I believe women are redesigning what work is going to look like in the next 100 years right now.
Yes, absolutely. Like I couldn't agree more with you. I mean, for me, like I started my corporate career like in the bottom, and then I got promoted to the manager level, to senior level. And I mean, I understand from the point of view of a company where you have to manage people around, you have to know when they'll be there because the work needs to be done. But on the other hand, on a human being side, because this is what we all are at the end of the day, we're not robots. And
Right.
like having, like, if you ask me, like for a few years now, if you ask me what I think about having to ask for your days off, I think it's a fucking scam. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You have
Ridiculous.
your 24 hours, your God-given 24 hours, given by God. And yes, you have to ask to another human being the authorization to have 1 day off or 1 hour off. I mean, where is this even comprehensible? And how are we in this world, especially in the Western world, like how are we just accepting this without saying anything or without trying to change this? Like that, I still don't understand it. And that is definitely something that I want to put out there, you know, like it's good to work. It's beautiful to create something amazing and to help people, but we are also people, you know, and that's exactly what you said. People are trying to get out of the 9 to 5 because they don't want to be slaved every day. And that's exactly how it feels, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. And it's like you can't win because the expectation is, and these are the words that get used: push, hustle, break through.
Yeah.
Come on, you can push even harder.
Yeah.
And, you know, that does align more with the masculine. You know, they have the ability to produce more testosterone and keep pushing. It's natural, but there's challenges for men, but we're here to talk about women today. And it doesn't fit. And here's what I know is that when women make this shift and we start really fully surrendering into the beauty of the superpowers we have of being a woman and the natural strengths we have, we are actually more productive. Now, it's a little scary of a transition because as a woman, and I remember this for myself, you know, we're so used to relying upon that push, push, push and getting results that are rewarded. And it's a little bit of a bumpy shift. But then when you're on the other side, you can't imagine ever going back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it's not just at work, it's like in life in general. Everyone rewards you and push you to keep pushing and to be like in your masculine mode. Whereas it's when you come up with, because the way we are talking and what you're bringing, I think is a new way of seeing things that we totally missed out in the human history, you know. And like as we go through, like I think for the next few years women will have we will see what we are talking about more and more, but people like us women who will go through this will see people pushing against what we are doing. Because at the beginning, like right now, if I'm trying to explain this to people around me, what I felt is that they don't really understand, you know, like they see me working, and then out of a sudden for a few hours, I'm not doing anything. So they assume I'm not working anymore. And this is where they find their way to get into my day, you know, and let's do this, let's that, and I have to be the person who says, okay, not today. Today I'm working, you know, even though it doesn't look like right now that I'm working, you know, I'm recharging my batteries. Like I'm just trying to breathe a little bit because I can't be on my laptop all the time, like for the 8 hours that I'm working. I can't do that. Like no one can do that. At the end, if you think about it, when we were in the corporate world, and if you're watching and you're still in your 9 to 5, at the end of the day, when you hit 5 or 6 o'clock and you go home and you reach home, you don't want to do anything. And you barely have the time in those hours of the evening and the night to come back, and you want to do something about your personal life and, you know, recharge your batteries. And then the next morning you're back into it, working at 8 sharp. And you have to be at sharp, you know, you're not allowed 2 seconds or 5 minutes late, you know, you have to be there sharp and giving you full time for 8 hours. But everyone knows here that it's not possible to be productive for 8 hours. And the 9 to 5 structure is like so outdated, it just doesn't make sense anymore. Like we all know the amount of hours we spend on Facebook or Instagram or chatting with our friends with our mobile under the desk, you know. And there's a reason for that, is that we can't be productive the whole day, you know. So
well, actually, you know, and I shared this in the course, so here is that sometimes those 15-minute social media breaks are actually fueling you, recharging you, because as a woman, we crave that connection. So, and people will feel guilty, or they'll be made to feel guilty that they're stopping and needing to call a friend for 10 minutes or get on social media, when actually as women, connection is one of our fuels. And so, you know, taking those breaks, but yet, you know, it's frowned upon. So yeah, I mean, and it's going to be up to women to lead this. We can't expect men or the corporate world to change this for us. We've got to lead the way and see what's right for us and lead the change. So I'm super excited to see this information get into the hands of thousands of women around the world. I want to see the shift happen. It was thrilling to have women, in my course report back how not only did they have better results in their business, but they had personal transformations happen, a better relationship with their husband, or better quality time with their children, or a better understanding of what they want. Some women made some shifts in how they want to run their business going forward because they recognize their business model needed to shift some for them to actually get and stay in flow. And, getting and staying in flow just means that we're not burning out, that we're approaching life from a place of ease and joy and love and balance.
Yeah.
So super excited. So here, can I just comment one more thing on
Sure. Go ahead.
what you shared about you were so busy and you had it all and you didn't need a man, but you wanted a man and you couldn't understand why the attraction, what wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I know is that from studying men and women for so long and also working in the relationship field is that men are attracted to our feminine energy.
Yes.
Very attracted. And so they will admire us for being successful in the workplace. They'll admire us, but they're not attracted. And it's not that it's in their brain, it's just they're wired that way. It's their biology. And if you think about, have you ever studied science, chemistry, and there's the polarity of a positive and a negative ion?
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
And that polarity pulls each other together. Mm-hmm. And if you have two positive or two negative, what happens? Push apart.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So basically when we shift all the way into this focused masculine mode all the time to be so productive, we're actually repelling the energy we need. And a lot of us need that masculine energy around us in order to fully be in our feminine energy. Yeah. So it's a beautiful dance when it works together. And so, yes, one of the benefits of doing this work of studying and getting into flow and shifting our energy about how we produce is that we naturally become more attractive to the men in our life, not just romantically, fathers or sons or brothers, because our energy is more open for their energy to be there. And it's a really beautiful thing. So
yeah, totally. Like I totally agree with that, because like this is also something like a shift that came into my mind for the last 2 years, where like I'm now married and my husband is very, very masculine and very strong in that way. And I was into my masculine energy with him, and so it conflicted a lot. And when he taught me how to be in my feminine energy, only then like we found some sort of harmony in our couple. And what you say is like 100% true. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's actually a beautiful experience. We're not giving anything up. We're actually gaining a lot by shifting that way when we're with them.
Absolutely. Like it just changes everything. Like you feel more in peace with yourself. And that's something that for me, like before that happened, like I was never told, or I never like figured it out that that's all I needed to do, be more feminine in order to attract a masculine man, so
right. Yeah.
So good.
Absolutely. Yeah. And this is the point about flow, is that our lives are holistic. We're not just our professional life. We're also our personal life. So it's been so fun to have this conversation and get to know you better. Yeah, because when I was running the course, I had so many women and I would get to know a lot of you, but not on this deep level. So I loved hearing your stories today.
Yeah, and thank you so much. And listen, whomever is watching, if they want to connect with you and follow your work, or get in touch and sign up with Flow, which I totally tell you to do, like I definitely recommend that. What do they need to do?
Okay, so I am on Facebook, but you know what? One of the best places to come find me, I think, is on my website. It's shelleyhayden.com. SHELLEYHAYDEN.com. And you can find out more about me. And there's also a bunch of information about flow. And the next time we're going to be running it, it's a group course. It's a lot of fun. And tons of other beautiful, wonderful women entrepreneurs like Soheir are in this course. And we had a great time. Yeah. Or just come find me on Facebook and send me a message. I'd love to connect with you.
Fantastic. Anyways, I will put all the links in the caption below in the box. So anyways, thank you so much, Shelley, for your time. This has been a beautiful conversation. I'm really happy I had you in here. And you guys, if you have been enjoying this video, please like. And first of all, before you do anything else, I want to know from you in the comment, what is the number one thing that you will take from this video and start implementing in your life? And I will be there to reply to each one of you. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you have liked this video, subscribe, and until the very next time, I wish you a beautiful day. Thank you.